Welcome back to another episode of E-commerce Joe. In today's interview, we're joined by Kay Suppamas, who is the founder of a company called Leafage. Leafage is a business that sells both physical products and it also offers live in-person events. Kay's an incredibly impressive entrepreneur and I loved today's conversation. We talk about a range of things from starting a business to overcoming the pandemic and to looking forward to the future and effectively global domination. If you enjoy the episode, please leave a like. Without further ado, enjoy the show. Kay, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Joe. Nice to be here.
So Kay, you're the founder of Leafage. For anybody who isn't aware of what Leafage is, what is it? What do you guys do? And what's the point behind it all?
So we bring people together and help them, take a break to reconnect and recharge with one another. We do this through our terrarium workshops and also team building activities. The whole point of it is just to help people take time for themselves, reconnect with themselves and reconnect with their loved ones. Both at work and at home.
I think I probably said that quite badly to say what's the point of it. I think I more meant like what's the goals and the objectives behind it, because the branding, as I always say to you, is absolutely incredible. And I know you're very focused on kind of a vision and stuff. So what's the vision of Leafage?
I really want to spread the message to people to look after their well-being. So the reason why I started Leafage was after my dad passed from a heart attack, and it was really sudden. I was working as a digital designer, just sitting in front of the computer screen, and I felt like I loved what I was doing, but I needed that human connection. This, like, what's the purpose? Like, how can I connect with other people? So I started attending like the meditation retreat, learning about grief and how to let go. And then I spent a lot of time in nature, and it was really transformative for me. So I wanted to combine everything that I've learned and experienced from that experience, and then launch something that I really want people to just like be happy, and it could just start at something like, hey, I'm like doing a bit of gardening, taking some time out for myself. It could just start there, but I hope that it will be a gateway for people to start living more wholesome, like what they eat, what they read, who they hang out with, because you only have one life. And if I could help add value to people to be happier, like that's really my life goal.
Amazing. And when you meet people and you tell them, that you're founder of Leafage, what is it? And they say like, oh, what does it do? Like, what does Leafage do? So
we help bring people together to reconnect and recharge through nature-inspired activities. And we specialize in this thing called terrarium. A terrarium is basically a miniature self-sustained garden. So if you struggle to keep anything alive, like we help you create this like miniature garden, which is portable and it brings the outside in. So that's what we specialize on. And we do a lot of team building activities. We also do at-home DIY kits.
And so you say that you do at-home DIY kits. Are you guys an e-commerce business? But are you a physical, like, are you a service-based business? Like, it sounds like you do a bit of both.
Yeah, we do both. So we have our products and then we have our services, which is team building activities. So at the moment we focus on, because with limited resources, we focus on corporate team building activities, but there are still untapped opportunities on, the DIY kit and just selling the products. But at the moment we sell both. So every time you book a workshop with us, you get the DIY kit, but like also the whole experience.
And I actually feel like I'm very badly prepared here. I should have actually had one to present. So 1 second, because I've got one of yours here.
So I also have one. I also
No, but
have
it's
one at home.
it's way more impressive to see my one because it looks so good.
Yeah.
Ta-da! So Kay
Yes.
and I actually met at one of Kay's workshops when she was you were basically brought in by the building, weren't you, to do it to loads of businesses. This was a few months ago. It's going strong.
Yes, that's the whole point. Introducing greenery with low maintenance.
And yeah, we like I had one of my team was there. We had a really good time, so much so that Nida, my team member, went and told the rest of the team, and we're now booked in for you. Is it next month? And we're gonna 15 of us or maybe more are gonna sit down and have a proper how do we help our clients grow their business sort of workshop day, which we're really looking forward to. So how how did you actually start Leafage? Because how long has it been going for?
It's been going for 4 years. However, everything changed when lockdown happened. So really 2 years because we changed the whole business model, but we started really focusing on scaling like probably the last like 6 months. So yeah, it's different phases, but in total, I've been running Leafage for 4 years.
And what was it that changed through lockdown? What caused that?
Yeah,
Or well,
so
obviously what caused the pandemic, but what changed?
before the lockdown, we were only doing in-person event. We didn't have any DIY kits at all. So we were selling everything, all the tickets online, but you couldn't buy our products on our website or anything like that. But with lockdown, we launched virtual workshop, which means that we can now reach our like anyone around the world. So we work with customers from like Canada, America, like all the EU countries, which is really like amazing. We've also had, our corporate clients who then really want to get like her friends to have a hen party, a virtual hen party. So like everyone is like online from around the world, which I was like, this is amazing. So that's coming from that's something positive from the lockdown. And yeah, we did a whole rebrand. We wanted to come back stronger. So all of the new branding, we did that over the first lockdown, and we launched our Shopify e-commerce website. So now you can get our products on our website. So it's been a huge learning curve, but really positive. Like it was hard,
Yeah.
but it was like good.
Do you think that was kind of like a blessing in disguise then, having the lockdown? Because I imagine if you were you must be able to scale so much more, right? Because you can effectively in Zoom, you could do like so many people at once. Whereas like what was like the biggest sort of live event you'd done prior to lockdown?
99 people. Oh, like the biggest events we've done, I mean, we've done like press event for Tropic Skincare, like a company that Lord Sugar's backed. So we've done like 400 people. But
wow.
That's a kind of like a few days and multiple sessions. However, with virtual workshops, we work with a Dropbox and 99 people, turn up. I mean, and that was like amazing. And they were all from the States. I felt really cool.
That is cool. You are cool, Kay. You run a terrarium company. That is cool.
Yeah, thank you.
What was that like doing that event for 400 people? Because that must have been scary.
I mean, it wasn't 400 people all at once, but it was like, I think like 40 people each session. We had, half an hour. Like it was a really quick turnaround. So I also had my assistant. So like it was a really good experience to kind of like just get shit done, But the thing is, what we found, like it was when there's an event with loads of people, it's really hard to like get everything organized, but the joy of seeing our customers come in and like just really excited about the whole the whole idea of how to build a terrarium, and also the benefits of gardening, and hearing a little bit of the backstory of like, hey, it's really important to take time out to look after your health, like, and well-being. That gives me a lot of joy. So it was a fun experience.
That's a really good point that you raised there about the kind of well-being aspect of it. So what are the benefits of gardening and kind of building a terrarium?
Yeah, so basically, from research, like doing half an hour of gardening helps reduce your stress level. There's good bacteria in the living soil that when you kind of like touch and smell the earth, it releases our serotonin, which is the happy chemistry in our brain, helping you feel relaxed and like just less stress. You might find, when you've got a long day staring at your screen, like you feel so much better when you just go out for a walk in nature or just do some gardening. Like when you smell the earth, it's like, it's universal. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, whether you're in Thailand, that's where I'm originally from, Thailand, or in the UK, like when you touch soil and go back to nature, it just makes you feel a bit more calm and like present. So that's the whole benefit of doing gardening as well. It's active meditation. So if you struggle to sit still and meditate, doing things like reading or gardening, it kind of helps you stay in the zone, but you're not just like sitting still.
And are there any other benefits that are kind of associated or that you've found that people have done that have made them enjoy the workshops?
I think the benefits of being together with their teams and their colleagues. We work a lot with our corporate customers. Some of them, it's the first time getting together in real life, because a lot of people work remotely now. So we have worked with a lot of corporate clients who said, we've been working together for the last 6 months. We've never met in real life. So it's a good opportunity to bring people together to actually like reconnect, revisit their why they joined the company and what's the company vision. So it is a win-win for all of our customers, because it's great to get everyone together, but it also promotes like, culture, company culture, and like the fact that our customers are spending money to kind of making sure that the culture and everything is right. So that's the benefits from a team building activity. And that's our main focus at Leafage at the moment.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I remember the event that we did, although there was only one person from my team, there were other people in the building, and loads of them I'd never really spoken to before, because you kind of just walk past these people and don't say anything. And then to be sat, we were just kind of sat around the table, like talking about each other's terrariums and like trying to help each other. It was really good. Like felt like and the amount of times now when I see those people, like you smile and say hello, does bring quite a lot of joy. So yeah, thank you for that, Kay.
You're welcome. It's definitely a conversation starter, when you attend our workshop. So that's the whole goal. So I'm glad you benefited from that.
And if we go back to that large kind of corporate event that you did, like that's quite a large gig, right, to get, especially for a small company. How did you manage to land that?
Inbound. In fact, they found us on Google, and like all of our customers, it's all inbound at the moment, which is amazing. But what I really focus on is just like making sure that our photography looks really professional and premium, and then hopefully that will just be the flowers and the bees.
I think you're underselling yourself here. You say inbound, but like there's a lot of hustle that goes behind it, right? I feel like you've got a lot of hustle, Kay. Like what are you doing to get those sort of inbound leads? Because people don't just, well, as far as I'm aware, they don't just type in terrarium workshops. Like you've got to be doing something, right, to kind of get people's eyes on the brand.
Yeah. So before I had a website, I was learning how SEO works. So I took I just read up resources from HubSpot and spoke to a few people, and they said, oh, if you have a website, if you collect 60 reviews, or I don't remember the number of reviews within 6 months, then you would your SEO would go up. So what I did, I just sign up to reviews.co.uk and then collected 77 reviews in 3 months, because that's all the money I could afford. Because I was getting discounted price, and I was like, I don't want to pay full price. So let's just get the reviews in. But that really helped. So now when people type in terrarium workshops, we come up, well, hopefully this is still true, but we should come up in the top 6, top 5 terrarium workshop in London. And that's one thing I did. And then another thing that I did is just making sure that the website is really easy to use, because my background was in e-commerce, digital designer. I was designing websites, emails, all the landing pages. So that's I feel like that's the skill that I make sure that I applied at Leafage. So I want to make sure that when people land on a website, everything's clear, the form is clear. And the third thing that I did was just making sure that our social media is kind of up to date, and we're always active, and using nice images. Yeah, really strong photography. So I think that would be the 3 things that I did, and make sure that our website is our online presence is strong, because we don't have a store. And I think that's, I'll always I always support e-commerce businesses, because I feel you when you're a small business owner, you can't afford to have a physical store, so how can we really maximize our e-commerce website?
Yeah, so you said you don't have a store, but you've got an online store.
Yes.
Now your branding, I said it earlier, I've told you every time we kind of see each other, I'm constantly like, Kay, your branding's incredible. How much did you spend on it to get it looking that good?
I worked with my best friend, so about less than 5,000. However, that doesn't include photography. But again, my friend is a photography at the studio, so we didn't even have to pay for the studio, which is really lucky.
That was more the answer I was expecting. I remember talking.
Yeah, but altogether, less than 10K, which is incredible, including the website as well, the whole thing.
Now, there are a lot of purple hands on your website. Whose hands are they, and are they actually painted purple, or is that a bit of
They are actually painted purple, and these hands are my friend's hands. So one girl is a calligraphy dancer, so that's why she was brought in, because we were we need someone that could do pose and natural. And the other person is Vanessa, one of my team, who you've actually met. So yeah, because otherwise if you get hand models, you have to pay them I don't know, 1,000 or something per day. It's really expensive. Yeah, I know, it's another world. But yeah,
maybe I should consider another career.
If things doesn't work out, that's your second job.
I didn't even realize that you'd actually spent that much on it. I thought that you managed to hustle it for almost for free, because I've been super jealous. But I mean, when you look at it looks like you would have spent tens of thousands of pounds on that, every aspect of it. I mean, the logo, the fonts, everything, so good. You mentioned that you worked in e-commerce before starting Leafage. Yeah. What was it you actually did, if you're able to talk about it?
So I was a digital designer for an interior design brand, an interior design lifestyle brand called Designers Guild. So I was their only e-commerce digital designer, doing their website design, all of the emails, affiliates, like banners, social media artwork. Before I started this job, because this is like my first proper job after uni, I didn't even know what an e-commerce was, because in Thailand, back then in Thailand, we don't sell anything online because there's a lot of scam online. I tried to explain it to my parents. I was like, oh, I've got this job after uni. This is what I do. And they were like, what? Why are you selling things online? Why are you taking like, why are people putting their credit cards and everything online? This is crazy. But yeah, that's what I was doing.
And how long have you been in the UK then? For,
I've been in the UK for 10 years now. And I was doing my previous job for like six years, but I started Leafage like the last 2 years of my full-time like job before I quit.
And what was that like? So you had a full-time job and you've got Leafage. Was Leafage kind of running on the side before you? So could you talk me through what happened there? Like, why did you? What made you consider to kind of take Leafage on full time? Because for most people, it's quite a big like risk and quite a daunting prospect, right? Because having a job's very safe and secure. Yeah, please tell me about
that. I was on the work visa in my previous company, and then like my brother saw that I was working with big companies like Facebook, and I was always like hustling, basically like 9 to 5 I was working for my previous company, and 5 to 9 I was working on Leafage, especially like over the weekend. So he helped me, and then we applied for the entrepreneur visa, and I did not think I was going to get it, but I got it within 2 months, and it meant that I was out. I couldn't be employed by anyone else. So that also gave me the like that's how I kind of like took the plunge, because I don't think I started to earn more money through Leafage, but I didn't want to just quit straight away. And I think I really value those times where I was able to work on Leafage, but not having the financial pressure, because you can't really give all in when you're constantly thinking about running out of money. So I feel like, for a year and a half, I had that privilege to like kind of test the ideas and like get, speak to your customers, and like build relationship with our customers, and actually prove that this idea is working before I quit. So when I quit, I was like, right, I'm going to do this now. But I already had like everything in the pipeline from our customers. So it wasn't so scary. It was scary, but everything was still going ahead.
And I suppose, talking of scary, I know you said that the big kind of gig that you did wasn't scary, but the very first event that you did, I imagine, was that the first sale that you made? Could you tell me about that? Like, how do you remember the first sale coming through? Like, how you got it?
Yeah, the first sale, it was my third workshop with my friends. So basically, I was running like terrarium, like Leafage terrarium workshop, mixing all my friends. So they would pay like 10 quid to come, and then it was a good opportunity for my uni friends to come and hang out, support my business. I literally was like not relentless. I was like asking everyone, but I was that kind of person anyway, getting people together in one place. So I was like, great, I've got this business idea. Haven't seen you guys in ages. Why don't we come and hang out, and I'll provide Prosecco. Everyone was sold.
You didn't give us Prosecco on our one.
This is all about wellness now. But back then I was still like, I was like 26. So I was like, yeah, boozing. Now it's all about well-being. But when it first started, I was still a kid. I still really enjoy having fun, like getting drunk, getting tipsy. So I got my friends together, and we were approached by this company called Obi, and it's a creative marketplace, and we provided them our images, so it looks like we were a real business. When back then I was like, hey, I'm just having fun, like just practicing teaching. And I remember 2 people sign up, and I'm still friends with them. Like, I follow our first 2 customers who first to paid customers on Instagram, and I can still like reach out to them and be like, hey, do you remember that day? Like, they were all my friends. They didn't realize that these guys were all my friends. And then after the session, I was like, yeah, these are all my friends. And they were like, what? No way, this is so cool. Yeah, that was our first paid customers.
So when your parents thought that you were scamming people online, were they kind of right?
I mean, that was for my previous company. Although saying that, when I told my mum about Leafage, I mean, bless her mum, she's like a proper like Asian mum, and she was like, what? Do you know how to, but how are you going to make money? How much are you selling it for? And how are you going to get people to find out about you? Like all these questions. And I'm really glad I didn't kind of like stop and like, I'm really glad that I launched the business and just followed my curiosity. I also had a first mentor, so that was really amazing and like really helpful, because her question was like, what's the worst thing that could happen if you failed? And I just said, oh, a bruised ego, but nothing else. And I was like, God, I really have got nothing to lose.
So you've got a mentor that, what do they like? Do you still work with them?
Not at the moment, but back then, when I was 25, this is before my dad passed away, but I was like, oh, I'm kind of getting a bit fed up with like just living for the weekend and going out drinking and, you know, just living day by day. So I started attending business events and trying to explore my potential passion or hobbies or business idea. And I also like just type in like business workshop, and then I attend this business workshop, and I met my first mentor. She was the person who was hosting the event, and they had this program supporting like young people launching their business, like 16 to 25. And you get a free mentor with it. And she said, hey, you seems really energetic and positive. Like, do you have a business idea that I could help you with? You know, we offer free mentorship. And I was like, what is a mentor? What? So
What is it for anyone who's not sure? What is a mentor?
Well, a mentor is just someone who helped guide you to launch a business, or kind of help you grow to the next stage of your life. Like, I think it mostly applies to businesses, and from what I understand anyway. So yeah, I found my first mentor from that Google search.
That's so cool. And what sort of things were they doing in those sort of business kind of meetups or groups?
So we would have a one-to-one monthly coaching sessions where I'd go in there, share my challenges, and then she would just advise me what to do, or at least like coach me to just be like, okay, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And then I would just go back, do the work, and then meet up with her again like every month. And like, that was really helpful for me, because I don't think I could do it alone. Yeah, for sure.
And so earlier you described your business as not a real business. Do you feel like it's a business now?
Definitely.
And what's the difference between not being a real business and now definitely a business?
So back then I was just kind of, hey, yeah, let's see how it goes. Like, I don't really look at the sales number or potential ways to grow and reach more customers. But now I feel like we are actually helping people and adding values through people's life. You know, we start working with a fulfillment company, we start looking at the numbers, we start thinking about how can we grow and like scale, and you basically just reach more people and make more impact in their life. And I'm finding this part really fun, because it's something new, and like, we're growing every month. There's going to be some month that we're like, oh, like quieter period, but if we work on sales, then we would get the result, because our product sells itself. So it's a really easy win. But in the past, we never really like, oh, hey, have you heard about Leafage? But now it's like, if I meet people, I'll talk about Leafage, and then like that could turn into a sales. So yeah, I'm thinking about growing, scaling, and expanding.
Always hustling.
Always hustling.
And then
Hustling.
that's one thing I've actually found incredibly impressive with UK. Like, you're very focused on growth, and you're very, you're almost obsessed with growth and planning. What are the sort of challenges you've found in your business now, with growth, and how are you trying to overcome them?
My recent challenge is like cash flow, which is something new that I'm experiencing, because I'm in the phase of preparing to raise investment, but I also want to grow. And so I'm spending more money on like salaries, on testing out new ideas to see if it works or not. But I'm still learning how to like manage our finance, like blocking out VAT and things like that, which I'm really, really grateful that we now work together, Joe, because it's been so helpful. Because in the past, I feel like I was always behind, like I didn't really know that much. Every time I reach out to previous accountant, like it took like 5 days to get back to me. And it's like, when you're a startup, small, you just want someone who's really passionate and like just attentive to help. So yeah, this cash flow problem is a new thing, but I'm now looking at the profit and loss, and like I just hustle and like get the sales, and now like I just feel like whatever I'm gonna spend, I really need to think about the risk, but it's all a learning curve. Like the only way is up.
And to overcome this, I know you're currently looking at raising capital and like getting outside investors. Like, what's that process been like? Because I know you've kind of dealt with seed legals. You mentioned earlier that you've met like a VC scout. I mean, as a start, like, what is a VC scout, and like, how did you meet them?
I met a VC scout just like through Instagram. I mean, I met this guy. I've come across his profile like 2 years ago through a friend of a friend, and yeah, he's now a VC scout. So I just met up with him, and just I think it's all about meeting the right person, like building the relationship from the get-go, because I think like you can't really have a successful path if you don't have trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's really important to just meet this person first, see how it goes, who can they like connect me with. So that's one thing. And then another thing is, yeah, we're applying for EIS. So
Just before you talk about EIS, what is a VC scout? Because some people might not even know what VC means in that context.
Venture capital scout. So someone who who kind of like showcase founders or businesses or startup with potentials, or VCs or angel investors, or like all these investment funds to come and invest. I mean, I'm still really new to this, but like that's the whole point of me meeting the VC scout.
Yeah, so I know, and it wasn't like me trying to put you on the spot to catch you out, but am I right in thinking it's their job or their role is basically to introduce you? So you're a business that's looking for money and you want investors. Yeah. They basically have a load of contacts, that these venture capital funds have loads of money that they're looking for businesses to invest in, and this scout basically tries to connect you with people with money.
Yeah, they're kind of like the middleman. But yeah.
And you mentioned the EIS scheme. Obviously, I'm the accountant and probably should be the one lecturing people on this. But what's your understanding of it? Like, how does that process look? Or how's it looked so far?
So you're gonna have to apply for the EIS is when investors could claim back their tax, and you have like SEIS, That applies to businesses that have been operating less than 2 years. Obviously, we've been operating for 4 years, so we can only go for EIS. And with SEIS, you can claim 50% tax back. EIS, you can claim 30% tax back. And all you have to do is just apply with HMRC. But obviously, you have to supply them with business plan, pitch deck, financial model, whatever that's on their checklist. So I am doing this through Sea Eagle. And yeah, it's been fun. We've got work to do, Joe. Especially on the financial model.
That's a good summary of it. That's good that you knew the like. I was expecting you to just be like, it's a way to raise money, and like, yeah, if you want an accounting job, we've got vacancies. Yeah, so you like, it sounds like a lot of stuff has to happen there. So like, how long's the process? Like, have you got anybody who's interested yet? Have they like, what's the scout kind of said?
I mean, the scout person who I've met is very new, but I have been speaking to potential investors, but I don't, you just never know. I think for me, it's more like asking their advice on, our pitch deck. Like, what do they think? Do you have any feedback? And then go and improve, and then go back to them and say, hey, I've done this. What do you think? And so I've been doing that with quite a few founders, potential investors who have exited their businesses. And in terms of the process for EIS, that could take 6 to 8 weeks. It really depends. But yeah, a lot of people say, oh, it's going to take some time. So that's why we want to apply during the quiet period right now in August. So hopefully we'll get everything ready by September, and then we can start speaking to potential investors. At the moment, I'm just trying to get warm introduction through my network, because I think I don't want to wait until September and just say, oh my God, yeah, let's go. And then I haven't practiced pitching. I'm not saying I'm good at it yet. So I want to just start, through my network, and then just see that feedback and then improve from there.
Would you ever think about making your pitch basically one of your workshops, just sitting there and having them do a terrarium workshop while being pitched to? I feel like that,
Oh, but that is really good. That's so good.
Be pretty cool, because you'd really understand like the benefits. You'd be like, oh, I'm talking to the person next to me, like I'm enjoying the soil.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah,
I'm definitely. Yes.
So the current problem is raising money and kind of sustaining the growth. What problems did you face prior to this? Like, especially I guess during the point of when like lockdown started and you kind of had that transition, like were there any kind of recurring problems that you encountered?
It's just always working. With the lockdown, I basically, before the lockdown, I've trained, 3 people to host a workshop without me. I didn't have to attend the workshop. I was like, sick. Like, I can now just focus on like doing the sales, and then I've got, the team hosting. And then lockdown happened, and I was like, oh, 0 income, like starting again. I can't do any in-person events. So we had to launch the virtual events, which is like great, but I had to learn how to make sure, like how to pack, like fragile glass containers, plants, perishable items, like literally everything. So I learned like, about this like cushion machine, like the machine that makes like bubble wraps, like all these things. And like I also had to learn how to use Zoom for the first time, learn how to make presentation. It was a lot of things, and I was doing it myself because during the lockdown you couldn't have anyone in your home, and I didn't have any like studio space. I was literally working from home, like packing in the kitchen. And it was the day that was my birthday, and I didn't sleep until 9 a.m. because I was packing orders. And I was like, fuck, like this is not the business I signed up for. Like, this is shit. And but I still didn't make the call to like move into a studio. And it wasn't until I was like carrying all these heavy like terrarium kits down the stairs, and like I slipped, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh, no.
Like, and then that's when I'm like, no, right, this is it. Like, I need a studio, because I need to stay alive. Like, whatever happens, I need to be alive to run this business. Otherwise, like, nothing's happening. So we moved to a studio. We had a contract there for 1 year. It was a tiny, small, community-led artist residential studio, and I was like the only business that's got like van coming in, delivery, like, what do you call that, pallet of things. Like, everything was like flooding out. I felt so bad. Like, towards the end, I had to like really apologize to all the artists. I'm like, this is the last order now. So that's when I'm like, okay, we need to move to a fulfillment company. Like, we need to outsource this, because otherwise we can't scale to meet the demand when it's high season. So we do have, you know, like August right now, it's a little bit slower, but when it's September, October, December, that's when we're like, whoa, this is like showtime. So I want to make sure that when it's peak time, we have the capacity to meet the demand. And that's when I'm like, right, fulfillment center.
Why is it that September, October is peak time for you guys?
Well, that's when things started picking up. So like, especially November, that's when a lot of corporate customers want to book like team building activities. I mean, like, I don't know what it's going to be like in November this year, but I'm really confident that a lot of people are going to spend a lot of money like getting their teams together. So that hasn't changed for the last like 4 years. So yeah, that's when I want to make sure that we're in good form for it.
I guess, yeah. I mean, is it September we've booked in to be with you guys ourselves? Yeah. I guess people do. Everyone's on holiday.
September is when everyone comes back from their holiday.
And
then like October, November, that's when they start booking in their end of year celebration, you know. And then like January is a little bit slow, but then February is when people start thinking about like, yeah, wellness, like, so yeah.
Interesting. And kind of talking about well, currently we're kind of in the tail end of the pandemic. Like, we're enjoying like the summer where it seems that COVID's disappeared, although it's still there. I won't ask you to get a crystal ball out on that, but how do you think, or what are you seeing in terms of people with physical events? Like, do you think that people will be doing more and more, or do you think people will kind of move to doing more events on Zoom, because you guys are kind of set up to do both? So
people definitely want to get together in real life. After 2.5 years of being on Zoom, you get like Zoom fatigue, and the buzz of meeting other people in real life, like, you can't beat that. You know, you can't have like a cyber girlfriend forever. You need a physical, like, in-person girlfriend. So that works the same way with our experience. It's you know, not a lot more fun. Like, it's still fun on Zoom, but in-person event it's always going to be a hit, you know.
And looking forward, I know your business isn't fully e-commerce, but what sort of things in the next 2 to 3 years do you think you would see changing, or will you be focusing on after you get all of this money? And what sort of challenges do you think will be coming around the corner?
I would love to, once we have the corporate deal in place, I would love to explore our BC product-based option. And I have thought about partnering with Soho House or like Airbnb host to kind of have our terrarium kit as like their add-on activity, because I think when you go to a retreat or something like that, it's always nice to have that activity. So I'm always thinking about scalability idea, repeat business, and I think that could be that could be another channel to focus on. And I would love to see Leafage in different cities in the UK and also global, US, Canada, Australia. I mean, we've got a few US clients who are like, you should come to the US. And I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I would love to do that. So this is why I think I really want to conquer, London first, and then expand across UK, and then repeat everything that's working in the UK, across the globe. And I mean, that's oh my God, boosting my ego, right? Great. But actually the whole point of this is as well, making sure that people do take time off to look after their well-being. It comes back to why we're doing what we're doing. And so the more people we can reach, the more people we can impact. The more people who would just imagine if people around the world, or even just in London, just say, hey, you're working too hard, why don't you take some time off, just look after yourself. Just imagine what would just imagine everyone was like that, we'd be so much happier,
Yeah, couldn't agree any more with you. I think that is as good a time as any to round it off. I'm conscious of time. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Kay. If anybody wants to find out about you or Leafage, what's the best thing for them to do?
You guys can find us on our website, www.weareleafage.com. On Instagram, it's We Are Leafage, and on LinkedIn, it's We Are Leafage.
Amazing. We'll make sure they're all linked, and I'm sure Hannah will get loads of pictures of purple hands up as this is going. Amazing. Well, thanks so much for your time, Kay. I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thanks so much for having me, Joe.
Bye.